Good morning, guys. Hope everyone's doing really well. It's Thursday morning here. It's the day after my birthday. I've been wanting to do this video for a few days now, but I thought I could sneak it in before work. I've basically been wanting to make this video. Jonas, SublimMedia, put up a contest on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I saw the video on Sunday and I immediately went and pulled out a whole stack of things to make for this video because it's a really cool idea. And I then sort of got sick over Sunday and I've been sort of wiped out for the past 3 days. So I'm still kind of sounding a little bit sick in my voice, but I'm sort of on the end of it now. So these records have been sitting on the apartment floor for 3 days and I've just been thinking, oh, I want to make this video, So here I am. Let's get into it. So, Jonas, where to start? First up, if you don't know Jonas, Jonas has a channel called SublimMedia, or SublimMedia, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Jonas has been making videos, I think he started even before me, probably even before me, and he's someone whose videos I genuinely get information out of and I learn a lot from. He's one of those people that I still learn things from his videos, which is really cool and exciting. I also like Jonas's channel because he's from Sweden. He shows lots of local Swedish things. I find it really interesting that he can talk about rarities within his country and, you know, Swedish prog records. That it's just stuff that you don't really hear about anywhere else in the VC. That's just because he's from a smaller country as well. You get that sort of like local knowledge. I guess I do a similar thing in terms of showing a lot of New Zealand stuff. But then the majority of other people in the VC can be from you know, like Europe or America, where artists are generally from that country, if you get what I mean. Like you can show American artists and stuff like that, but I know Jonas does really like to focus and show a lot of Swedish stuff, which I think is amazing. It's so interesting, and I've learned a lot about Swedish progressive music. He has a really fantastic video that I'll put a link to, where he basically explains the history of Swedish prog over, I think it's like 2 parts, which is really cool. Anyway, Jonas is doing a contest for 1,000 subscribers, which is really awesome. He deserves more than that. He really does. He does a great job with his channel. But the contest is, I don't think anyone's done this before that I can think of, is just go crazy and show your rare records, be completely shameless about it. You can brag. You can talk about what you scored it for. You can talk about how much it is. You can talk about, yeah, just go wild. Just show some crazy pieces that you don't often show. You know, this is a good chance to just put more than one video and just absolutely go wild on them, which I think is a really fun idea to do. And as soon as I saw the video, I immediately pulled out a whole stack of stuff. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's show some records. Enough talking. Actually, there's a little bit of talking. I did say to Jonas in the comment that I will do my best here, but my very rare records are in storage, and I said I'd explain to you, Jonas, why that is. So as you know, I lived in Melbourne, and that's where I had all my collection in one place. When we moved back home to New Zealand, we didn't know, oh jeez, there's a fly there. We didn't know where we were going to be living, so we didn't really have a space to bring all the records over in one amount. So what we did was I moved all the records to my girlfriend's parents' place. They've got a big room there where I could fit it all in. And that's about 9 hours away, 9 hours drive away, or an hour flight. And we live in like a small apartment in a different city. So I just don't have the room here at the moment to have all my records in one spot. So what I've done is these records here are stuff that I've bought in the past 2 years, or stuff that I've brought down from storage. Now, the reason I didn't want to bring down the super rare records is because I wanted to play things that I was less familiar with, or things that I don't know. You know, a lot of those rare records are things I love and know off by heart. And also, in the back of my mind, around the time we moved, we had a big earthquake, and I was kind of scared of bringing my expensive records down here in case something happened and they got damaged. So for that reason, the super rare ones are up in storage. But what I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll go through my Discogs and my collection and just say a few of the things that I do have that are up in storage. But I do have, you know, sort of 20 records here that are deemed rare or valuable. But in saying that, I've checked Discogs this morning, and things that I thought were worth a lot more than they are have actually dropped in price because, for example, they've been reissued. So I don't know exactly how crazy rare some of these are, but we'll see. Anyway, this is the first one. This is the Soft Machine's first record. So I should also say, sorry, I'll get to the records. I just want to also say one more thing. I could have just gone and shown a whole bunch of, I have a whole bunch of like rare New Zealand records that are upstairs in the other crate, but that's kind of boring to you guys because you've seen me talk about them or they don't mean anything to you. So I wanted to show stuff that you guys would know that is rare, that would stand out, because that's the fun part, right? Stuff that makes your jaw drop. This is an original UK pressing of the Soft Machine's debut record. Canterbury Prague. It does have the wheel, and the wheel does work. I can take it out and rotate it. I'm not going to do it. This wasn't cheap, but it's definitely quadrupled in price, let's say that, from what I paid for it on the Probe label. So I bought this maybe 3 or 4 years ago for $60, and if you see on Discogs now, a copy, the record is VG+++. It goes for a lot more than that. That's a cool one. I don't play this enough for the value it is. Yeah, but it is a fantastic record. I should really revisit that. This is a record on Vertigo that I got. I never thought I would own. I got it a couple of years ago. This is Keith Tippett Group, Dedicated to You, But I'm Not Listening. This is a UK jazz rock record. Jazz rock funk fusion. It's not really fusion. This is a New Zealand pressing, which I got for a really great price. US originals just go for absolutely crazy money, you know, so it's like up to $400. This is in mint shape on Vertigo. I actually need to give this a wash. Doesn't really need a wash. It's wonderful. Fantastic artwork there. I had a heart attack when the guy was offering this. The guy that was selling it, he was friends with someone that watches my channel, and he put in a good word for me, and that sort of helped bring the price down a lot. So that was something that I'm, you know, when there's certain records that you think you'll never own, it was one of those records. Coffee break. Oh, I do have a couple of New Zealand things in here. This is a super rare single on the Flying Nun label. I think this was I can't remember, I'm so out of the loop. This is the second or first Flying Nun release. It's a really rare record to find, even in New Zealand these days. I found this at a local record store in Wellington for a really great price. That's really cool. The Clean Tally Ho, that's probably their most famous song. Indie rock, New Zealand indie jangle, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's probably my most valuable 7-inch. I actually haven't checked the Discogs price on this, but I think it's a really cool item to have, and I think it's probably quite hard to get one in this shape. This is Miles Davis' Pangea. It's actually an original Japanese pressing in mint condition. It's got the obi strip. I don't know about rarity and price, but it's definitely one of the coolest things I have in my collection, I reckon. Just look at that stunning artwork. I don't need to talk about the music because you should all know this record. Electric Miles, recorded live. Yeah, it's got these really cool labels too. I'll show you. Reminds me very much, reminds me of like the Mars Volta artwork in some places. Look at that, isn't that the coolest label? So yeah, I can't go wild as I would like to, but these are definitely some pretty cool items. Oh, it's the Postman. Hopefully, I think he might have got a record for me. Hopefully. One sec. Yes, that was the Postman, and yes, he brought a record. Anyway, back to the task at hand. This is a record by the post-punk band The Fall. This is a really rare record because it was unofficially released in New Zealand on Flying Nun against the permission of the band. It's a live recording, basically featuring a whole bunch of some of their best songs, I think, from the early period. It comes, the first side is 33, the second disc is 45. Have a look at the price on Discogs. It's getting a bit crazy now. I think Fall collectors are quite very enthusiastic. This is really awesome. I'm a big Fall fan, so to get something that was recorded here in New Zealand released, and there's a whole big story behind it about how basically Marky Smith put out a cease and desist order to cancel and burn all copies of these. So very grateful to have a copy of that. Again, that wasn't like a bargain or anything like that. I did pay a decent amount for it. Sorry, I'm out of breath because I'm still kind of sick and I just ran downstairs to the postman. Maybe I should have waited a few minutes before jumping back on the camera. Jesus Christ. Oh, we've got quite a few to get through. Maybe I should speed it up a bit. Now, this record used to be one of the most valuable records in the collection. This is my girlfriend's copy. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Abattoir Blues. It's come out in 2004. This is an original 2004 pressing. This used to be worth $250, and my girlfriend paid, you know, close to $100 for it about 5 years ago. And it's since been reissued a couple of years ago. Now the price has dropped down to like $50 to $60 for an original. So, you know, that's kind of like the perils of original presses. The prices can fluctuate up and down depending. But yeah, this was previously never issued reissued on vinyl. So it was quite hard to get original copies, and they reissued them. And the prices, everyone's obviously sold their original presses for a lot of money and bought the reissues. But this is an original pressing. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite Nick Cave record. It's wonderful. Okay, this is a record that I got in a trade yesterday. So this is a freshly arrived yesterday. It's not a rare or obscure record, but for some reason it goes for, well, not for some reason. It does go for a lot of money on Discogs. Iggy and the Stooges' Raw Power. This is an original US pressing. I will talk about this properly in a recent Vinyl Finds video, but I can't believe how this record is in near mint shape. Comes with the original inner sleeve. It goes for crazy money on the internet. It's you know, at least $140 for a VG Plus copy. And it seems crazy that I understand, you know, it's a very popular record, everyone loves it, but it was printed, you know, I assume the first pressings were done in a large amount, enough for it not to be worth this much money. Like I was really surprised that, you know, you can buy you know, it's not like there's only a few copies available and people on Discogs will put the prices up. There's lots and lots of copies available on Discogs, but they're all starting from like $140. So, you know, not an obscure, absolute, super rare grail thing. Well, actually no, it is for me because I have been searching for years to find an early pressing. You know, I could go online and get it, but I've been wanting to find, you know, even an Australian pressing, a New Zealand pressing, a UK pressing, whatever pressing of this record for a very long time. And to get a US original is just icing on the cake, really. I would have traded for any sort of early press because it's just eluded me everywhere. You'd think that I would run into them, but I just haven't. So yeah, I'm at the moment I'm really happy to have this in the collection. I feel excited just looking at the amazing inner sleeve and you know when you get a record that you've wanted for a long time and you just have that excitement of holding it. I'm still feeling that with this record. Okay, speed it up, James. Speed it up. I'll go quicker. Nucleus Elastic Rock. This is a Japanese pressing on Vertigo. Comes with the Obi. This goes for, there's a copy on Discogs now for $1,000 with a die cut. I don't know what that means, but apparently that shows it's very rare, and there's only there's only one copy on Discogs for sale for $1,000. So that's a rarity. It sounds absolutely fantastic. UK jazz rock, Nucleus Elastic Rock. George Ben, Africa, Brazil. Original Brazilian pressing. I haven't checked Discogs lately, but I imagine this has only gone up in value. It's a gem in my collection, something I'm really proud to have, an original pressing of this. It's a Fred Big Star 1000 favourite, and it's a close to a 10 out of 10 record for me. It's a Desert Island disc, really. Gee, sorry about all this. This is, as I said before, it was my birthday yesterday. So this one was my birthday present to myself. And it wasn't cheap. It was $100. I'm not sure what the US equivalent of that is, maybe $70 US or something like that. This is a near mint copy of Topography of the Lunds by Evan Parker, Derek Bailey, and Hans Bennick. An amazing, I say free jazz, but it's sort of more avant experimental record. This is a UK pressing on Incus, so I think there's 4 pressings. There's a reissue from a few years ago, which is already very expensive. There's a first UK pressing, which is crazy expensive. There's a second one here that's just on the border, and then there's a third one. I can't remember. Anyway, this is a second UK pressing that I got on eBay. I'm really happy to have this. I love this record. It's so different that they're all sort of like fighting to contain the sound or something. It's really hard to describe what I'm trying to say, but the tempo doesn't always go crazy up and down, but everyone's just like contributing in their own way to create this like cloud of sound. It's really interesting. I've been wanting this for a very long time, so I'm really happy to get it. It's the first thing I have by Evan Parker on vinyl, which is really cool. I will give you my thoughts more when I listen to it a lot more. But that's definitely a rarity in my collection. This one, I don't know if it's rare from a sort of money point of view, but it's definitely something that you guys probably won't find in Europe or America. Is a Kind of Blue. This is a New Zealand pressing with an alternate cover, and it's in mono. The label is on Coronet, so it's a hexagonal record. Yeah, it's very cool. I actually really like this version of the cover. There's something about it that I love. I've got a copy of this in near mint condition, and it actually sounds bloody fantastic. I've never heard a US original pressing or an early US pressing. I've only heard reissues, so it'd be interesting to compare. But yeah, I'm really happy that I have this. Kind of like a weird, obscure rarity thing. Okay, this is an interesting one. This is a record that Teddy alerted everyone to many years ago. Since being reissued on Superior Viaduct, I picked this original pressing up for $60. Then I found out I was in really bad shape, so I got a half refund on it, so I got it for $30. It's definitely in VG plus shape. It was worth a lot of money before the Superior Viaduct reissue came out last year. It's sort of dropped since. I do also have the reissue of it. This is an original pressing. It just has a lot of loud pops and clicks at the beginnings of both sides. But yeah, that's definitely a rare record in my collection, and to get it in, this condition is pretty amazing. What a cover. Okay, this is a big ticket item for sure. Faust so far. This is a US UK pressing on a Polydor. You all know this record. For fans of Krautrock, an absolute mint condition record. I did some trades and got a copy of this. The labels are on Polydor, but you probably can't see this, but they're completely in black. Yeah, this is a real gem in my collection. It comes with all the photo prints. I won't go through them all, but there's a whole stack of photo prints here. and some more. Oh, there's a piece of paper in here. I won't open that up. Anyway, yeah, this is something that I am really proud to have, and I've got to remember that I have this because it's a real masterpiece. I'm even feeling a bit weird about having it down here in Earthquake Zone. But yeah, Faust so far. I imagine this will be worth a lot of money in 20 or 30 years. One I got recently, I talked about this. Nick Drave. I used to edit stuff like this out of my videos, but now I just can't be bothered. I'm just going to let whatever I say was whatever I say. 5 Leaves Left, an original mint condition US copy on Antilles. This is worth sort of like 3 or 4 times what I paid for it, so I'm really happy that I have this. It's a milestone, absolutely wonderful record. Sounds fantastic. Showing off. This one is a record. I want to show this one because it's obviously recorded in Sweden. An original Blue Note, Ornette Coleman, live at the Golden Circle. This is one of my favourite Blue Note records. I got this dirt cheap a number of years ago. In massively fantastic condition. It basically feels like it hasn't been played. I've checked a million different notes and labels and stuff, and I can confirm this is definitely a original US pressing. I hope. I'm sure it is. Maybe it isn't. Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure it is. I have looked before. This is one of my favourite Blue Notes, so to get an original of this is really fantastic. It's definitely, it might not be the rarest, but it's definitely one of the favourites in my collection. This one goes for a fair amount on Discogs now. This is Suicide. This is their first record. This is an original US pressing on Red Star. Wonderful. I don't even know how to describe this. Post-punk noise, avant-garde. It's like bits of like, I don't know, like haunting Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska-esque style. Yeah, this is fantastic. Really happy to have this. Oh, I didn't realise I pulled this one out. I don't know how rare this is for you over there in Sweden, but I've never seen any copies in the wild. I don't see many people show this record. Another one that was turned on to me by Anders, Fred, and I don't know if you showed this, Jonas. I'm sure you probably have. Solar Plexus, jazz, funk, rock, amazing cover. Some of the songs don't really do it for me, but some of these tracks are amazing. This is the version with the English vocals. I think this is worth a fair bit of money now. I'm sure they pop up for you in Sweden quite regularly. But yeah, there you go. Solar Plexus. Clifford Jordan in the World. This is a Strata East record. This is a Japanese pressing in mint condition. I managed to get this one really weirdly cheap for some reason. I think it's because the US presses are made. Are they gatefold maybe? But this isn't. Yeah, this is a. Oh, maybe it is. That's not gatefold. This is one of those records that everyone talks about. Clifford Jordan, Julian Priestler, Don Cherry, Wynton Kelly, Richard Davis, Al Heath, Kenny Dorham, Roy Haynes, Ed Blackwell. What a lineup. This is on Trio Records out of Japan. That's probably another big ticket item. 2 more. This is the Black Jazz records. I've showed these recently. Mainly these are probably very rare in the condition they're in. To have them basically as a sealed dead stock record is next to impossible, I imagine, even in America. I don't know how these got all their way down here to New Zealand, but they did. So I picked up a few of these Black Jazz records. That's that one. Oh, now this record here. This is a absolute rarity, hard to get record. It's worth 3 times again what I paid for it, but I don't love it 100%. It's good, it's not great. it's very tempting to get rid of this and get something I really want. So if anyone is interested, let me know, because I'm not sure I'm 100% sold on this. But that's that Blackpool Cool Head, private press, Scottish jazz rock record in the vein of Nucleus. Cool. All right. Discogs. I'm going to be really weird here and just sit on my laptop while I'm talking to you. Let's see what we got here if I just pull it up. So yeah, I could, if I pull it, I've got a list here. If I put minimum value for the highest, it pulls up different things, the medium and maximum. So I'll talk about it. Okay, so here's one, is the band Mogwai. They put out a 2 LP album that was like a limited edition remastering box set of the album Young Team. And the minimum it goes for is 204, the maximum is 423. I paid $60 for that about 5 or 6 years ago. I'll never sell that, you know. Okay, My Bloody Valentine, Loveless. I paid about $60 for that about 7 or 8 years ago. Highest it goes for is 427. Medium is 145. There you go. There's a fly flying around here and it's really annoying me. It's really loud. Oh no, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a drill. Anyway, that's another one. There's a whole bunch of New Zealand ones on here, but I'm not going to talk about those because they're probably not that interesting. The Mars Volta, Bedlam and Goliath. That's the 2 LP with the weird picture disc. Highest is 342. Lowest is 150. That was about $70 back in the day. The Smash Pumpkins Melancholy box set. I don't know if anyone has been around long enough in the VC to remember when that came out. Amazon in Canada accidentally put it out for $40 on the Canadian Amazon page instead of putting it out for whatever it was, 140 at the time. So a lot of us scooped up that really cheap. And now it goes for crazy money. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? I have the mobile fidelity version of that. Highest it goes for is 352, lowest is 120. There's a few more in here. This is probably boring for you just watching me sit on a camera. Oh yeah, one of the biggest ones is Manuel Gosching, E2, E4, which is that proto-electronic record. It's not Krautrock, it's a German electronic. That record used to sell on Discogs for like, you know, almost $400. It's now dropped again since it's been reissued. Let's have a look. Let's have a look how much my original pressing goes for now. One from 155. Let's have a look. That's a VG plus. Okay, mine's near mint. Oh, actually, okay. For a near mint copy is $800 for a VG plus sleeve. $600. Okay, so that's pretty good actually. I think that's probably enough. This is probably not. It's quite boring listening to me sitting in front of a camera. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you, Jonas. Please keep making videos. You're one of the few people that have obviously been making videos from back in the day, and every time I watch, every time you put a new video, I jump and watch them straight away without even hesitation. Always top of the list. One day I'll come and visit you. It'll happen. I promise. I hope. No, it will. It will happen. I really want to come over there and spend some time with both you and Anders. It'd be really cool. But anyway, yeah, please enter his competition because he really deserves more attention, more love. For me, he's a founding member of the VC, a really important member. And a lot of the new guys really should go watch Jonas because I think he's really fantastic. For me and my vision of the VC and what I know, he's one of the pillars of the VC in my circles of the vinyl community because now there's so many different corners. Someone I value that makes videos still, really, is what I wanted to say. Anyway, I've got to do some work, which sucks. I'd rather be talking about records. Cool. Alright, thank you guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Please enter Jonas's contest. Although I shouldn't really be telling people to enter because the more that enter, the less the less chances I have of winning. I'll end it at that. See you guys, thanks.